Hi there team. I had a question come in through Instagram recently about deload weeks, recovery weeks, so where we're dropping back the training a little, where to sort of put them in your training plan and how much to do. So I guess the first thing to point out is that it varies quite a lot depending on what you're training for and what your training plan looks like at the moment. Generally, I take a bit of a two-pronged approach with these recovery or deloading weeks. The first one is there'll be an overall cycle of training that's perhaps 8 to 12 weeks long, that's focusing towards a kind of medium-term goal for the runner that I'm working with. So that might involve half or a third of their overall training plan to their target event. So there will be a period at the end of that overall cycle where things drop back quite a bit, but that might be after a particularly sort of challenging week, or maybe a target interim race where we're checking in on how much performance has improved over that 2 or 3 month period. So there'll be a couple of weeks of real recovery at the end, where mileage will drop back by probably around a third, and intensity will drop back as well. So there'll be nothing going beyond a sort of tempo pace in terms of intensity, usually. The other thing that I often fit in is roughly every month or maybe every 3 weeks, depends a lot on the runner, their history, their training history, their injury history, is a week where things just get a little easier. So the mileage might drop back by about 10-15% and the intensity drops a tiny little bit. So maybe if there's 2 speedier sessions in the week, that might drop down to 1. I might even drop a run that week as well and put something alternative in, like an extra rest day or perhaps some different cross training, and that's just to allow the body a little bit of time to adapt and build stronger as a result of the training that's been done. It's always useful to think about your overall mileage, maybe keep a little bit of an eye on that and plot it out. So we shouldn't be having a mileage sort of graph that gets higher and higher and higher in mileage every week, because I say maybe a little drop every month, and then at the end of that overall kind of 8 to 12 week cycle of training, a decent size drop for a bit of recovery before we then build up again to the next segment of the training plan. Bit of a vague answer because it does depend so massively on what event you're training for and kind of where you are with your training at the moment, and particularly your injury history. So people who come to me with quite a long list of injuries and niggles will get a little bit of a different approach to those people who've been lucky enough to be fairly injury free. Hope that helps.